Live chat. All right, I'm gonna wait for some people to come in because I am being very spontaneous, and we're going, yeah, and we're going to hang out and do the live thing. So that's exciting. I was going to read through some of my ARBA stuff, and I thought that well maybe we can like hang out and chat and do all of that nonsense. But if nothing else, I can just read through or play with my quilting stuff or something along those lines, right? I should probably start scheduling these things, but as I've said a million times before, I am really bad at scheduling. And yeah, I'm just bad at scheduling because I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to totally do this at like 5 p.m. on Friday, and all of a sudden you see, yeah, I know you got that. And next thing you know, that, yes. And next thing, was that what you have to say? Yeah. Say, make sure my live chat is up because I am really bad at this. There we go. Hello. Oh, what are you having for supper? Sorry, I just got the live chat to come up. What are you having for supper tonight? We had leftovers. Thank you. She is such an ornery little monster. She had her baby well visit today, so she had her shots and her weight and everything, and she is just a good little monster, aren't you? She's so good. But nah, we frozen pizza. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Frozen pizza is amazing. I love myself a good frozen pizza. Hello, Lisa White. Hello, how are you doing? But no, a good frozen pizza, like those DiGiorno ones that I think that's how you pronounce it, DiGiorno. But the ones that have the rising crust are absolutely amazing, and I will eat those every day. I know she was 16 pounds. It's crazy. Not sure about supper, cleaning bird cages. Thank you so much for stopping by. I cleaned my bird cages this morning. But yes, I was to say, my supper tonight was like super simple. DiGiorno, yes, DiGiorno's is the best. I say the only thing I'm really doing is having a single, I don't know what this is. Danny picked up a new kind of beer for us, and it's weird. Oh, I'm so glad my videos are helpful. I started my YouTube to talk about like farm and homesteading stuff because, yeah, I talked to Danny about it. Hello, hi, how are you? Do you have a cockatiel that I'm, yes, or a cockatoo? Yes, I have a cockatoo and I have a military macaw. Yeah, she's new to the homestead. She is 3 years old. Her name is Samantha, though I call her Rasputin most of the time. And she is what are they called? She's a sulfur macaw. She's a sulfur cockatoo. So, she is not my bird by any means. She is Danny's bird. Yogi Hollow, I'm so, thank you so much. I'm glad you learned something about rabbits because that's really all I talk about. Hi, City. You gonna hang out in here for a little while? Okay. I have all the kids in here now. But, yeah. I would say I'm glad my videos are helpful because... Do what?
Not all of it. One more.
Oh, that doesn't count. But I'm glad my videos are helpful because otherwise I'd just be talking out my butt about rabbits. And I knew male umbrella in a 25. My mom had an African gray while I was growing up. Yes, that raspy kind of deeper scream. Yes, that is Rasputin, and she screams a lot. I have a Flemish giant rabbit. Her name is Delilah, so I love the rabbit videos. I'm so glad you like them. I also have a Flemish giant. His name is Zumi. You have a lot of knowledge and energy, and that's awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. When it comes to the energy part, it just depends on how much caffeine I've had on that day and if it's snowing outside. Yeah, Flemish are really cool. I have decided though that they don't make the best meat rabbits. The bone to meat ratio is horrible. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Zumi. I'm not gonna eat him anytime soon. But like after all of the research I put into the breed as a whole, just purebred Flemish giants, not real keen on them on the homestead for sustainability, but they're so cute. Love the Rexes. Yes, I love Rexes. I keep trying to find something else because my Rexes are kind of small, and it's one of those things where it's like I keep going back to them. Yeah, snow next week. Probably you also. Don't tell me there's more snow. I know our last freeze date is in June, but I don't want to hear that. I want to just. I have 60-degree weather today. It's been gorgeous. We took the dogs to the dog park, and it was outstanding weather. I loved it, and like. I don't want any more snow. Like, I know I live in a mountain town and our snow season is very long, but I don't want it. I know it goes in circles of seasons. My 5-year-old is explaining how the cycles of seasons work. Yes, yes. I love the weather right now. Next week Danny promised once he gets back from his next run, he's going to build my garden so that I can actually garden. And he said that he will build me new raised beds. So hopefully the weather stays nice for that. I've had her litter trained, but also have a dog. My bunny was not quite tame enough to bring her in. She is litter trained. Yeah, litter training rabbits is amazing for indoor rabbits, but I will say it takes up too much space and it's too much of a hassle to clean out litter pans out in the barn. Hello, Blessed with Pets. All right, perfect. You go get your phone charger. Your baby's. Thank you, my little tiny squish. I was say. Although she's giving me some troubles right now because she doesn't want to gain weight, even though she eats an arm and a leg a day. This girl goes through food like there's no tomorrow. She is so chunky, but she's such a skinny mini at the same time. It's so annoying. She eats so much. I just can't get her weight up. Though she loves avocados. Avocado is the new thing she likes to eat a lot of. So right now the top food is avocado, rice, and then beans. So she's an eater. It's kind of funny. She also learned about hot Cheetos. She loves hot Cheetos. We were kind of worried that she wouldn't like them because of how hot they are, and she chewed through them like they were nothing. So she has a better heat tolerance than I do. But yeah, I am excited though because of the weather getting warmer. After Danny builds my raised beds, I'll get my cauliflower planted, I'll get my broccoli planted, and then once it starts warming up a little more even, we'll look at going past like the cold resistant things. I'm a glutton for punishment. Hot Cheeto, yes, hot Cheetos. She loves hot Cheetos, but this is also the child that will chew on a jalapeno pepper. So we should not be surprised by this, but I'm still surprised anyway because she's one. Like she shouldn't be enjoying spicy foods yet. You would think at least. But hey, I guess it is what it is. It is what it is. You have the better heat resistance. But yeah, she's tough. Yes, the hot Cheetos get me. What do you do in the summer for rabbits? How does it go? Where are you at? We live in the mountains of like Colorado. Above like Colorado Springs, and it's one of those things where in the summer it doesn't get very hot here, right? It's very mild. The hottest it gets, and it's not even for long, is about 80 degrees. But for the rabbits, what we'll do, frozen water bottles is one. We'll put a fan in the barn and let it rotate through. Yes, I know. And if it gets like really, really hot, what we'll do is we'll take water and we'll put it on the rabbits' ears, so that it cools them off that way, because their ears are really big circulatory parts of their body and release heat really easy. So what you do is if you put water on their ears and it evaporates, it helps to rapidly cool them down. So that's like if it gets way too hot. But for the summers, we haven't really had too much of a problem. I do know that when I was living in Ohio growing up, and my 4-H friends, when they were raising rabbits, they would go out every couple of hours or so to check to make sure that they weren't getting too hot, because it got hotter there than up here. So, Dada, you are so talkative tonight. You are. Yes, you are. Yeah, so talkative. But yeah, so summers aren't a problem for the most part. But I did learn. And this is proof you can always learn more about rabbits, even if you think you already know like a lot. You can always learn more. I was talking to some friends, and there's this breed called the Tamuk, and it was 105 in summer. No thanks, I don't like 105-degree weather. But there's this breed called the Tamuk, and it was bred by Texas AMU to be used as a rabbit. To be used as a rabbit. A rabbit that is extremely heat resistant. So they're called the Tamuk. And they're a meat rabbit. So I found that to be really interesting. It's not a breed recognized by the ARBA yet. So we'll see if that happens. But it was kind of a scientific experiment run by that college. And they've been doing really well with heat resistant rabbits. Because normally what we see with rabbits is they're very cold hardy animals. And when you have these cold hardy animals and they're doing things like giving birth and keeping their babies alive in negative 20-degree weather, on the flip side, normally they don't do well in that weather. So to see a college actually focusing studies on bringing these rabbits not only into existence but also breeding them for the mainstream is actually really cool. Okay, Madison, have a nice night. Enjoy your I can't speak. Enjoy your DiGiorno's. I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Sometimes I can speak English. I put plastic water plates in their hutch too on hot days. They walk through it and dip their paws in it. That's actually a pretty good idea. The only thing I would be worried about is if you live in a very moist climate, such as like Florida, and you do that, I'd be worried about something similar to what's called wet dewlap, which is just basically where things get wet and they don't really dry out and they start to like mold and build up bacteria. But if you live in a drier climate, that would definitely work. It's just kind of what works best for you depending on your climate. But no, that's actually a pretty good idea. I've also heard some people put like ceramic tiles in their rabbit cages. So you know how some people use rests to get their rabbits off of wire. Like that, but with ceramic tiles, and the ceramic tiles naturally are cool, so they'll leach the heat out of the rabbits' bodies. So that's definitely another thing that you can do. And I'm not sure, other than ventilation, the ARBA talks about ventilation, but I'm not sure if they really talk about anything else. Page 49. I have resources sometimes. Alright, cage and environment. Housing, wire bottom cages versus solid bottom, building your own. Yep, talks about ventilation, humidity. I have ceramic tiles in my rabbit pen. Yes, ceramic tiles are the best. Yeah, it just goes over on page 54 that rabbits cannot tolerate high temperatures and high humidity. A combination of high temperatures and humidity will cause heat prosperation in the animals very readily. The rabbits will withstand much higher temperatures with low humidity as long as there is air movement within the rabbitry itself. I'm just starting with my silver fox rabbits, 2 bucks and 2 does. I'm really concerned about the heat. So I totally get that, especially since silver foxes are mainly used when it comes to cold weather environments. They're very cold weather hardy. I love them. They're soft, they're fluffy. So if you are in a warm area with silver foxes, frozen water bottles, make sure they have access to water, good airflow, and I know you dropped your toy. That's not really a toy. Ceramic tiles, and then water on the ears to help regulate that cool. I don't know if you have access to air conditioning in your barn, but if it's something you want to do on a larger scale, I highly suggest being able to get like a portable air conditioning unit. They go anywhere from like $100 to $500, depending on how fancy schmancy you want to get. But it is doable depending on your setup if you want a larger setup. I know that in the Oh, you're so angry. You want a book? I do know that in the future, if and when I decide to go even bigger than I have now, I'm definitely going to look at getting a cooling system, like air conditioning. Sorry, my notifications came up and I couldn't see. So yeah, just play it by ear, especially your first year having rabbits. When it comes to summer, see what they can handle. I will say that if it gets too hot, it will cause your bucks to go sterile and they won't have babies. Normally they say if it's more than 80 degrees in your rabbitry. With that being said, just play it by ear. We slow down in the summer with babies. I'm an urban homestead, no barn. Completely understandable then. Is your hutch in like some shade or that kind of thing? I'm not sure if you do it in the garage or how you. I'm not sure how you have it set up, but you can definitely kind of play around with it. The hutch in the shade helps if possible. Yes, hutch in the shade helps so much. Like up here in our shade, it's about 15 degrees cooler than if we're out in the sun. So if you have that capability, that's a simple thing that could help. Or like if you have trees in your urban homestead. But I love that. I love that you're an urban homestead working with rabbits, because that's one of my favorite things about rabbits is that no matter if you are living in the city or in the country, you can raise rabbits for a sustainable meat source because of how little space they do take up when you're raising them. So that is amazing. I love to hear that. That is so exciting. Do you also do like gardening or anything? Yes, under a big... You good? Are you good? Yeah? Yes, so being under a big tree like that definitely helps. Yes, it does. She agrees. But yeah, being under a big tree like that totally helps. So, that will definitely cool it off a little more. And then again, frozen water bottles, water on the ears, ceramic tiles, all of that together, you should be fine. In Ohio, we would get regularly up into the 90s and the low 100s during the peak of summer, and, everything was good there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Like I said, I looked through the ARBA book. It just says to make sure you have good ventilation and good cooling, but didn't really give much besides that. Most of what I learned about keeping rabbits cool comes from older breeders that I just kind of hang around with shows through mentorship. So the ARBA helps, don't get me wrong, but if you have the capability of talking to people who have raised rabbits for a long time, they have really cool tips and tricks that, if you like them, you can use them, and if you don't, you just kind of stash it away somewhere if you ever need to use it sometimes. That's kind of what I've learned. Or if you have other questions, another great place, and, I'm using it right now, is Facebook. Oh, goodness. Is like Facebook, right? Go into Facebook, they have meat rabbit raising groups, they have groups for certain breeds, the parent clubs. Hi folks, sorry we're late, hope y'all are doing well. Hi, how you doing, Bluegrass Bounty? Don't worry about being late, I'm late to everything anyway. Like all the time. I'm gonna grab it. Yeah. Alright, sorry about that. Trying to entertain the child. That's why I said this is going to be a quick one. Can you adjust the food to help with weather? You can, okay, so when it comes to feed, right, and it comes to rabbits, I'm very timid about switching feed around, and that's because rabbits have a very delicate digestive system, and they're prone to things like GI stasis, and they like to, keel over when their feed needs aren't met appropriately. Like for instance, if you have rabbits and you switch their feed over too quick, it'll kill them. So when it comes to changing feed, I'm very, very careful. That doesn't mean you can't switch their feed to accommodate for weather. It just means that whatever you do to change, make sure it is a slow change and you're keeping records. For instance, we have been having a hell of a time getting Mana Pro up here on the mountain. I have not been able to find Mana Pro worth anything. And if I do find it, it's like one bag. And it's not even the green bag. The green bag is my favorite. It's the red bag. The difference between Grow and Show, right? I like Grow better than Show. And it's frustrating. So we switched over to Producer's Pride. I don't like Producer's Pride compared to Mana Pro, but we switched over because you do what you got to do to feed your animals. The only difference is the Pride doesn't give my rabbits the coat I like. They still gain weight perfectly fine. They're not quite as shiny and soft on the fur. It's meh. But anyway, when we did that switch over, we did it very slow, very carefully, switching over with the materials we had to ensure that we didn't lose anybody. And we didn't, thank goodness. But I've had it before where we've switched over feed and we have lost some of our rabbits. And normally it's like the really young kits that are just weaning off, or it's the really old rabbits that have been there for a while. Can I help you? Why are you trying to yeet over the back? But yeah, so you can change your feed, just be careful with it. I do want to. I don't like changing feed. Me talks about changing feed. I know it's so silly. What also helps with that is a lot of hay. What treats are best for prego moms and nursing moms? Okay, so if you're one of the, there's something I highly recommend when you have nursing moms. It's rolled oats and black oil sunflower seeds. That really helps with the production of milk and helps with like fattening them up and keeping their condition as they are as they're nursing their kids. So rolled oats, and black oil sunflower seeds. My speech impediment is acting up really bad today. But normally what I do is I do like 1 to 2 tablespoons of each per feeding for the mamas, depending on the size of their litter. And that has done really well also with getting weight onto my Rex kits because I don't know if anyone else has this. I've talked in rabbit groups about this before. My Rex babies love to stunt. Not my minis, but my standards. And apparently it's a very common thing where you'll feed your Rex rabbit something funny or you'll switch their feed and they'll stunt on you. And that they won't get to see your weight. And we don't know why. But I have found that if I feed black oil sunflower seeds and rolled oats, they don't stunt as much. How about fruits, vegetables? How much would you feed a Flemish per day? So, if you are a part of House Rabbit Society and you do not like the answer I have now, I'm not going to agree with you no matter how much you argue with me and how much we get there. Feeding rabbits a raw diet, fresh fruits and vegetables is extremely dangerous. Now, in small quantities, it's not horrible, right? But it's very easy to overdo it and give your rabbits diarrhea or GI stasis. Remember, rabbits can't get rid of that gas in their gut and they'll get bloat. So you have to be very careful with the fresh things you're giving it and the quantities that you're giving it. What rabbits need is pellets and hay. They need basically a higher protein pellet that should be mostly comprised of alfalfa. Somebody's going to argue about me with Timothy. Alfalfa is best. And I can pull up the sources right here. Yes, GI stasis is terrifying. I have gas drops on hand as a last ditch effort just to make sure, if I'm pulling out the gas drops, it's a last ditch attempt to save my babies. And yeah, so it's best to stay away from fresh foods. My bunny loves bananas and kale and carrots. I do feed her pellets and hay. If that works for your bunny, that is great. Perfect. Go ahead with that. Be careful with the kale. Be very, very careful with the kale. Kale, leafy greens, does cause gas and can be very dangerous for them. But if it works for you, do what works for you. But it is one of those things where I get arguments on it all the time, and I have, what are the signs of GI stasis? Bunnies stop eating, their bellies get extended, not like full bellies, but like bloated bellies, and they start moving slower, and they'll eventually die. I actually have, let's see here. Give me a second, I need to get my story straight. I have this book of stuff, and I'm pretty sure I have the clinical signs in here. That way I'm not messing this up, but yeah, basically your belly bloat happens, and they stop eating, and I know there's another sign I am forgetting because I'm always forgetting something. Mastitis, no. Weepy eye, vent disease, prognosis, no. Metriitis, foot abscess, pasteurellis. Goes through the glossary. Let's see, sore eye, no. What do you do all day, Madison? Well, I look at prognoses for things that are like, Rhineck. Sorry, I missed your comment. Now my hand's there, so I can show chat. I love that. Thank you. I go into song a lot. I turn into a Disney princess sometimes, and I think it's just because I am around my children too much, and I'm an old theater kid. So I am just in my own, I'm in my own musical. And I know, no, not malocclusion, not sore hocks. It should be in the non-catchable diseases, glaucoma, caked breast. I know it's in here because I go to this book a lot. Where is it? See, I will say one thing about this book that drives me absolutely nuts. The glossary of diseases is not in alphabetical order. I appreciate that you know your stuff. Gotta head out. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and stopping to talk to me. I really appreciate it. And I do try to be knowledgeable, and I do try to keep up in my studies. I read a lot. Depending on who you ask, that's a bad thing. And I'm still looking for GI stasis. Thank you, Anna. But my biggest thing when it comes to like raising animals, and it drives my husband nuts, is I like to be up to date on everything. And I get the amount of magazines and books and like articles and studies I get in the mail over my rabbits. It's like, oh, what's this? It's like, it's the newest study from Michigan State University. And it's about, I don't know, feeding or whatever. I know. Hi. Hey. Why we fussing? Why we fussy, fuss? A fuss. But yeah, so I spend a lot of time and a lot of resources on being up to date on all of my animals, and it drives my husband nuts because I'll go up to him and be like, did you see this thing? Did you see this new study that just came out? I can't believe it. And then I will go into a 2-hour tangent about the most nonsensical of things to him. Like how, which Mana Pro just bought out one of the big pet feeds that was a producer for a lot of rescues. Oh, which was it? Was it Global? Maybe it was Global. Anyway, and I was going off, and I'm like, oh, I hope they reformulate it. And I hope they reformulate it to have a higher protein content, because a lot of pet store brand rabbit foods, a lot of, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be on here, guys, because we got a fussy mess. But a lot of pet brand rabbit foods don't have high enough protein. And when you don't have a high enough protein... Oh, good. You want like a ball? When you don't have a high enough protein, you get wasting diseases with your rabbits. There we go. So what you'll have is you'll have a rabbit that appears to be healthy for years and years on end, but they never seem to be gaining weight, and they just slowly start to decrease their weight. And they don't have any lumps, they don't have any bumps, they aren't showing any disease progression, but they're still wasting away. And they'll blame it on a bunch of other things, but what it is for the most part is they're not getting enough protein in their diet because they're feeding low protein and high carb. So basically they're giving these feeds that are nearly pure sugar, which it's one of those things. It's also why the ARBA, Michigan State University, Ohio State University, and Texas AMU all suggest feeding alfalfa hay, because alfalfa hay is going to give you the most protein for your rabbits to ensure that they not only live for a long time. Thank you so much for all of your contents and answers to my questions. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And if anyone ever has any questions, even if I don't know it, right, you could ask the most off-the-wall nonsense. I will find the answer, because as soon as somebody asks me asks me a question, I want to know the answer to it. I'm like, is that a thing? I want to, like, somebody asked me about bicorneal uteruses, and to be honest, I had no idea what that was. And they were like, oh, don't rabbits have these? And I sat there and I'm like, first of all, I don't know what that word means, so let me go look it up. And it basically means that they have a split uterus. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I went into the deepest rabbit hole about rabbit reproduction, more thorough and deep than I... Hey, you want a sock bun? More deep than I normally go, which is funny, because normally I go pretty deep when it goes to the rabbit stuff. And then I got into a tangent about delayed implantation and double kitting and all kinds of like nonsense. And that turned into a whole, should we be keeping our male rabbits and the female rabbits in the same barn? Because we know that rabbits can breed each other through the cages, but can they breed each other across the room from each other? Because there's this debate on, is it delayed implantation, or is it because bucks can get does pregnant across the room? Answer to that study real quick, in case you were wondering on that tangent. It was because there was a delayed implantation for whatever reason, because there was stress on the mother rabbits, and the sperm wasn't reaching the egg in the time frame that was expected when breeding those rabbits. That was a fun one. Beautiful family, love how you multitask. Gotta head out. Have a great night. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for stopping by. I love talking to y'all and seeing all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful night and weekend, and hopefully you have some beautiful weather to enjoy as well, because it's pretty beautiful here. So hoping everyone has that, because everyone deserves to have amazing weather this time of year. It's spring. So I got that spring fever. I am ready to get out. I was riding Dallas yesterday, right? And Dallas had a little fire in her. It's the first time she has ever really acted up. And even then it was the saddest little act up she has ever had. I know. It's a CB. But it was the saddest little act up my horse has ever had. She did a little bit of a cow hop around the corner, and I whipped her around a little bit. And she was like, oh yeah, I can't do that, I'm lazy. And then we continued to walk and prance around the arena like it was nothing. But the springtime has my mare a little worked up, and I'm here for it. I am so here for Dallas getting a little fire and pep in her step. I love when she actually, acts up a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I know. Oh, is it almost bedtime? It's about an hour early for bedtime, isn't it? Yes, an hour early for bedtime. It's always on the nice days. But no, but yeah, it's been nice. I'm starting to see flowers. Hello, micro farmer. How are you doing? How are those escape rabbits of yours? I have been watching the chronicles, and it is making me giggle that they have found a way to escape. That is rabbits for you. They like to be little escape artists. I have a current doe right now who she can't be kept in the wooden hutches because she knows how to stick her little nose through and unlock them. So they are escape artists. We couldn't keep Coco when we had Coco still. We couldn't keep him in the wooden cages either because he had the same issue to where he was escaping through the front door. So, but thankfully it was Coco. So when I went out there, I'm doing fine and all locked up. I'm glad they are all locked up. I watched that video and it had me rolling. I was like, oh no, the baby bunnies, no. But that got me giggling and laughing because I know that struggle. I feel that struggle. When I first got into rabbits, I had escape artists left and right. It was so frustrating. I know, you're sleepy. Well, y'all, I said it would be a short one, but I wanted to thank y'all for tuning in, and sorry, I'm going to go get her put down for bed. I was expecting her to last for another about hour before bedtime, but apparently we are ready for it now. So I'm going to get her put to bed, and I wanted to say thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to try to start live streaming on Fridays. That's the goal. Live stream once a week on Fridays. About back in the pen, and his sister got caught before she could get back in. Yes. But yeah, I'm gonna try to start live streaming on Fridays, somewhere around this time. Do not hold me to it. Do not quote me, but that is the goal. I put it out into the universe, so somebody yell at me, to be honest. If I'm not, I'm going to. I am putting out a goal into the universe to live stream on Fridays. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate all of y'all, and I can't wait to talk to y'all more in the comments and see y'all and, all that good stuff. I am watching everyone's videos. Even if I don't comment, I have them in the background playing, and I try to go through and like everything and at least leave a comment to up y'all's engagement. But sometimes I am just totally off the wall. But yes. Yes, I cannot wait for our live. It's going to be so much fun. But anyway, thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. I'm going to press the X, but bye, guys.